So actually, like I was saying earlier, like you are someone that does spin hip hop and house like both very well, and you're kind of a pioneer in discovering new artists in both genres. And this year we saw like a huge EDM explosion to the point where you have like, you know, Nicki Minaj doing house songs, quote unquote. You know what I mean? And where do you see the mainstream music going next?
I hope that it's gonna be a bit more adventurous next year.
Right.
And really, I'm gonna take it upon myself to you know, get as involved as I need to be for the songs that I want to hear to come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, definitely this year was, you know, the big commercialization of electronic music or EDM or whatever it's called. And I think the whole trap thing was kind of like a reaction to that. You know, the trap thing to me is a sort of undercurrent, like, because house and electro got so commercial that, you know, I think a lot of the DJs were like a little fed up, like, yo, let's make some cool shit. But that's kind of formulaic too. I think there's room for pop to get really interesting. You know, like,
not like boy bands. Or what do you mean?
I mean
like Justin Timberlake, like,
yeah, I would love for him to come.
Yeah, like his album was great, the solo album. But I mean,
and it's like, I forget what it was. I was talking to someone about Rihanna's album the other day, and they're like, because I said that I was disappointed in it, and I forget who I spoke to. They were like, well, I think it's pretty good for a pop album, and like that sentence really annoys me. Like, for a pop album, popular music should be good, and I don't know. I think there's an open lane, especially in the mid-tempo range, and you know, I think the whole EDM thing will stay, but it just feels like there's not much inspiration there. So, you know, on the dance music side, you know, we've seen like deep house and stuff like that have a lot of momentum lately, and that's really cool to me. I mean, to me, that's just like, that's funk. So I'm happy to hear those grooves. I think the commercial records in the dance world will stay there for the main stage guys and everything, but you know, I'm just seeing more and more cross pollination, more sounds merging, and I think we're going to see, you know, top selling, you know, vocalists and just, you know, MTV type of artists take more risks with the track that they take, that they jump on, and, you know, we'll just hear more like genre-less, big songs.
Now you last time we played together, you weren't using Serato. You moved to Traktor. What was the reason to move to I mean, Serato's kind of like the industry standard for us kind of guys, you know what I mean? So why?
And I think I put in a lot of legwork to make it that. You know, back in 2003, 2004. But yeah, I've been using Traktor a lot. I haven't, you know, stopped using Serato, especially like if I'm doing a gig with a couple of friends, and especially if I'm, you know, playing hip hop or whatever, like, you know, old classic breaks and stuff. And if, you know, if it's a couple people going back and forth, I'm not going to be like, hold on guys, I need to plug my Traktor box. You know, all my playlists are on iTunes, and they can go in either program. But and you know, I don't want to like say too many negative things about Serato, because, you know, obviously if I switched to Traktor, there were certain things I wasn't very satisfied with on the Serato side. I think Traktor has really good sound quality, and I think the sync feature is really powerful for someone like me, where like I'm always trying to free my hands up. I'm always wanting to cut. I'm always wanting to like add little samples and just freak the records. And it's kind of pointless after like 15 years of DJing to be like, wait, I have to beat that. I have to make this the same tempo. It's like enough of that shit. Like, you know, if it frees me up.
You're at a certain level. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just like, I don't know, and I don't even mind if it's not because I'm a technical DJ that I'm allowed to use sync either. I think you know, people can just decide what they want to use. But and even like playing big venues, like playing, you know, when I reached a certain size of venue and I have to deal, you know, I'm still using turntables, which is kind of stubborn of me, but that means I have to deal with bass vibrations and just like, and just the elements being sort of against me, like, and any software that'll assist me actually, you know, allows me to put on a better show, because I don't want to be up there troubleshooting and checking my needle and being like, oh, the pitch control on this turntable is off. Like, there's other ways where I can play a good set, you know? So it's kind of that, but I love Serato, especially for hip hop sets. You know? I think Traktor is very powerful. and especially for electronic music. And you know, Traktor's got like their remix decks now too, and I think like they're kind of allowing DJs to put on a performance that's somewhere between Ableton and DJing, like where you can play with layers and deconstruct songs. And I haven't even gotten as deep into that as I'd like to, but my main you know concern with the technology that I use when I DJ is having turntables, and like you know after that what's on the computer is kind of secondary. I think. Because honestly, if I didn't scratch as much as I do, I would have switched to CDJs a long time ago. I don't know why North American DJs are so like scared of CDJs. They're really good. Like and some of my European friends, like I have techno DJ friends. Like DJ Feeds, who's on Edbanger, or Boys Noise, or Many, rest in peace. Like so, those guys were straight up turntablists on CDJs. Like
Chucky's nice on a CDJ.
Yeah,
too.
He's dope. But you see his hip hop side come out on that too. Like I've literally seen a lot of like techno DJs use the CDJ in a way that's way more technical and advanced and creative than the way a lot of hip hop DJs in North America use Serato. So there's this weird myth about CDJs versus turntables. It's just that I can't beat juggle on a CDJ, so I can't really use them.
Right. Now you have so let me ask you this: you have tracks you've done recently with like Tommy Trash. Are you looking to like really cross the genres and like get like a Tommy Trash beat and get Juicy J on it, or is that?
I'm open to that. Yeah, I mean, that's my whole steez is these sort of unexpected juxtapositions, and whether it has to be specifically on a Tommy Trash type beat or not, I'm just like everything I do, I like it to be a bit of a surprise. For sure. So I put out the Tuna Melt EP, where the 4 songs are quite different, and there's some Duck Sauce stuff that's ready to come out pretty soon that I think might surprise people at least a bit, in the sense that like people think that we'll stick to the same style as the previous song. Right. When you think about it with Duck Sauce, Anyway is really it was the disco house song that sort of like defined us as a disco house act in a sense, but like every release after that was quite different. Like Barbra Streisand is just a funny loop. It's not even really disco. People might say it is because it's Boney M, but that's not what people hear when they hear the song. They hear the sing along or whatever. And then Big Bad Wolf was just underground Chicago house that got some, or if anything, Big Bad Wolf sounds like something Armand would have put out on Nervous Records in 1994 or something. So like, the next one coming up, soon in the new year will be another sort of switch up of like, oh shit, you guys just did this? Okay, cool.
You actually, I remember hearing that the Duck Sauce album was done like a year ago.
Yeah, I'll tell you it was like 90% done a year ago. Yeah. And then there's a lot of sample clearances to deal with, and but in the meantime we got a bit impatient, so we made some new shit too. Yeah. So
we will see this album soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Any like.
I don't have a date for it because we want to, I want to like relaunch it with a single, and then we'll set a date. But
does the album have a title?
Working title is Quack.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you actually, there's a couple of records, Fool's Gold records, or maybe they aren't, but that I've pulled from your sets, or that I've just heard in your sets that are great. I love Funk and Matt, I Wish.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell me about that record.
Yeah, that just came out finally. Yeah. Well, Funk and Matt is just like this dope producer that Nick and I have been aware of for a little while. He's from Norway, and he's, pretty versatile producer. And man, it's as simple as him sending us that track. Right. Like, already... It wasn't even a demo. Like, I played it out and I was like, "This is masterpiece." And we don't even need to master this.
That's great.
But we tend to gravitate to records that have something different or quirky about them. Right. A record where like if someone hears us at the end, they'll be like, "What's that record with the robot voice?" Right. So like, that was like that, and so whether it be that or like there's this Carly single that's coming out in the new year that's also very recognizable. There's couple of new Fool's Gold things that like I know, like, so we'll get demos, I'll try them out in my sets, and then I'll I'll come home from that show and be like, we need to sign this because I know when a record stands out in the set.
Yeah, and you're talking about Look Up, the Carly record. You played that that night we were hanging out at Tao.
Yeah.
That was great. I was like, I remember going like, yo, what is that? What is that?
Yeah. Now there's a B-side that's like in that same vein.
Really?
It's like just as strong. Yeah.
So we will see that record soon?
Yeah. Carly's coming out, I think, in January.
Okay.
And yeah, the fucking Met came out recently.
Yeah.
So.
And then the Steve Angello A-Trak song.
That one might be in the vault, I'm not sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. You know, Steve and I, linked up here and there.
That's a great record. I mean,
thanks, yeah. And I remember playing it at one of the first shows that we did together at Excess, and we'll see. I mean, like I make tracks with my friends and collaborate with people, and I play them in my sets, and then I sort of strategize or figure out when to put what out, and because the Tune 'Em Out EP was really 4 different songs that I decided to put together. So we'll see what happens with the song that I did with Angello, but maybe it'll come out, maybe it'll just be something for folklore, for the legend. We'll
or
see.
Someone could leak it on the internet.
Yeah, I've barely given it to anyone. Or maybe we'll go back in and change it and put out a new version. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't, like one thing that I've learned after doing this for quite a bit of years at this point is to not force things, and like a lot of my projects, whether it be songs that I make myself or artists that I work with, or even just sort of creative decisions, or even like business partners or endorsements, things like that. Like a lot of stuff is sort of like available for me to sort of to pull the trigger on at any given moment. But I think it's important to go with the stuff that flows naturally. One of the reasons why Duck Sauce became such a big part of my music life in recent years was that Armand and I click so well. So I make tracks with a lot of people, and not to say that Steve and I are great friends and we get along really well, but like that song I think needs a little something, so we haven't put it out. I think it's good enough to play in my sets, and I'm happy to have it, but like it needs a little something. So either we figure it out, we finish it, we put it out, or it stays something that like 3 people have. We'll see. Yeah,
it's a great record.
Thanks, man.
So what should we look forward to from A-Trak Fool's Gold in 2013?
As far as myself, like I mentioned, is the Duck Sauce project that's like ripe now, ripe for the picking, and definitely more original music. I mean, there's always a couple remixes dropping here and there, but there's remixes of the Tune 'Em Out EP that will come out, in the first couple months of the year, but more songs for myself throughout the year. I've been like producing a bunch of stuff with other artists as well. So like I've been putting on my producer hat. So you'll definitely hear my beats pop up in expected or unexpected places throughout the year. And then on the Fool's Gold side, we're just continuing to grow a lot of the seeds that we planted in recent years. So like we've been doing these day off concerts, which are these free outdoor like daytime parties. The first 2 years were just in New York. This year we did New York and LA. Next year we're gonna expand a little bit on that. So like more events, and we're still we have this shop in New York. We do art exhibits. So like more collaborations in that world. The merch keeps growing. And then obviously releases, Danny Brown's almost done with his album, so he's going to come before the summer. There's a couple artists that we've been developing that are like, finishing up their projects as well. Party Supplies is almost done with his record. But for the most part, I would say bigger and better things.